people, today I'm bringing to you the program by Suzanne Young. As you can see, it's a box set. I have to say that I'm a sucker for box sets. I think that when you get into a series and can get the box set, for me it's the best thing because it's a very cool way to display the series, and also it helps protecting the books from dust and all of that. I have to say that I love this series. As you can see, it's composed by 6 books and they go in pairs, like 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6. And I'm going to put this down because it weighs like a beat. And I'm going to offer you an overview of the series. The first 2 books, that's called The Program and The Treatment. We are going to see this dystopian society in which there has been like this contagion that was created by something like depression and suicide clusters. And then society, when it's seen that a lot of teens are killing themselves, they create the program. That's kind of an institution to help them deal with emotions and everything. But at the end, what it truly is, it's like a form of control in which teens cannot express grief, they cannot cry, and they cannot show if they are depressed or if they need help. They cannot show that because there's this figure called the handles, and if they show some kind of depression symptom or anxiety or whatever, they are flagged down and they are bring into the program. And what does the program do? The program what does in way of dealing with all these suicides and everything, it's erasing their brains. It's like a memory swipe, and it's like they get back to the world brand new, like they don't remember their relationships or their friends or anything. So it's they feel like a lot of oppression. The first 2 books are very oppressive in this way that teens don't dare to express how they're really feeling. They're keeping all this grief and all this fear of being flagged down, and honestly the program is just creating more problems, and it's pushing teens to suicide. So yeah, it's very hard to books. Following these 2, we have The Remedy and The Epidemic, in which we do a flashback in the timeline, and we find ourselves with something called the grief department. And the grief department is dealing with when a parent loses a child or when someone loses a loved one. They have this figure called the closer, and the closer what does is impersonating the deceased. So it's in a way to give a chance to the family to say goodbye and to say all those things that they couldn't say when the other person's life was cut short. What we are going to learn in this book is that in a way the grief department is also offering a chance to say everything that was not said, but also it's not letting people process grief and not letting it express itself. So all this pain, everything, it gets churned inside the person, and this is one of the things that will bring out the epidemic in the future, because pain is shitty, grief is shitty, losing someone is shitty, but you have to cope with all these feelings instead of trying to suppressing them. And it's that idea, and there is people in the society that agree with the figure of the closer, just helping people close off the pain and everything, but there is people who don't agree with them and also call the closest monsters because they are impersonating. It's not like they are actors or actresses just playing the role. No, they are exactly impersonating. They dress like the person who died, they adopt their mannerisms, their way of speaking, their relationships they had, and just they plant themselves into that life and continue living that as if nothing has happened. So we are going to follow 2 main characters in this book, and one of them, the closer we are going to be following, she is beginning to lose herself because she no longer can differentiate her life with the life of everyone she has to be impersonating. And there's a moment in which the lines just crosses, and she finds herself like, okay, who I am inside of this. And we are also going to learn that there is began to be these memory wipes, and you will see the seeds from the program already being planted in society in these 2 books. And the last 2 books of the series, 5 and 6, it's the adjustment and the complication. And here we are going to find all the characters from the previous books plus the new characters from these two books are going to merge and find themselves into the last two books of the series. And we are going to be dealing when the program closes, there is all these people who have had their memories erased and they are returned to the society, and they're called the returners. And it looks like the brain has this wave of evolving and it's trying to bring back all the memories that were erased, but it's not doing it like in a way that the person can survive, because they're having crashbacks, because all the memories come back again, and it's like the brain can process all the pain and everything. People are killing themselves or simply dying because their bodies cannot deal with all this old lash. So they are going to find a way of trying to bring back the memories in a way that can be tempered and the body can withstand that. And we are going to find again the ethical thoughts of what was done in the program, the way that they have of dealing with depression and anxiety. Instead of doing a good therapy, they thought it was better to eradicate the memories and not let people express their feelings and all of that. And also bringing back the memories, it's ethical, it's unethical, because the person cannot bring back their own memories. They have to have like a donor, and it's everything remembered exactly as it was, or there's some changes, or what should returners have to do they have to have their own memories back or not? Can they choose, can they not? So for me, this series was amazing because it put you in this dystopic future into which people cannot show how they feel, the pain, the rage, the anxiety, the depression, because they're going to be flagged down and they're going to be erased. So there's a lot of ethical things that you are going to be thinking in these books about how we have to deal with mental illnesses, mental health, how people need help, and there's needs of better therapies out there, and also how sometimes society just doesn't accept that which it's different in some way. So for me, these books were amazing. I have to say that the first two books were a bit lacking into the mental health thing. I mean, you can see that it's a dystopia thing and dystopia thing, and that but sometimes I was very uncomfortable thinking, okay, people with depression shouldn't be ashamed, shouldn't be told to hide their feelings. People who is in pain shouldn't be told to hide those pains, those things. So I was happy to see that as the series progressed, all these issues were kind of addressed, of how you have the right to express your pain. If you are feeling like you are feeling grave, or that you are spiraling down, if you need help, you have to ask for it. And the society as a whole, and psychologists and therapy and everything should be handed down to people who really needs that. And there is no shame in saying I'm depressed, or I have anxiety, or I suffer from a mental illness. And you should have all the resources that you need to cope with that. Because as I say sometimes in other videos, if you break a leg, you have medicine to help you. So if you break your brain, you also should have help and medicine to help you out. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. And I also love this idea in the book that if you hide your pain, it festers inside. You have to have the chance to express how you feel and all of that. So if you like this kind of books about dystopic societies, dystopic futures, and if you like teens fighting for what they believe and trying just to assert themselves, if you like to have this take into maybe mental health, about how there is this society who's trying to erase people and to hide this epidemic because they want to make money, and like in the past when people were lobotomize, the word, now it's like I cannot say that, and there was like put into swimming pools with ice cubes, so they created shocks, all these kind of things. But in the future and in a very dystopic society, if you like to see all these things and how it can be overcome, and this idea that you have to express yourself, you're going to love this series because it's amazing. Yeah, you have here the covers, which are also amazing too. So this is a series that I will recommend. I have to say that I devoured them in like 6 days, so it was a book per day. So yeah, for me it was that good. I have to say that the only downside I had with this series is that the female characters are very well elaborated, and they are very different from each other, but the males are like somehow similar one to each other, one to another. And I have to say that there was this recurrent idea in all the relationships in which there was a moment in which one of them thought that he or she wasn't enough for the partner and that the partner deserved better. And I don't know, having this idea repeated through all the books, it was a bit like, okay, let's see or check for other reasons to have these relationships suffer or to keep the attention of the reader. But for me, as I say, it was like all the males were endearing, and I love them because, well, they were well created and all of that. I have to say that in a way it was like it was an actor portraying the different roles because they were very similar. And also I would have liked to have a lot of more of diversity in the roles of the different relationships, but other than that, I have to say that the characters are very believable, especially, as I say, the female characters are amazing. And yeah, I love the narrative and the way that the books are narrated, and how certain in 3, 4, 5, and 6 you are really thinking about the ethics in society and how things should be done and how people should express the pain and the grief and everything. And I have to say I completely love this series. So thank you for watching. Bye.